What's going on, guys, and welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where every single week I, Graham G.S. Matthews, break down all the original content I watch on the WWE Network as well as on the E! Network. As today we're talking Season 4, Episode 3 of Total Bellas, entitled Troublemaker. So this episode was kind of lost in the shuffle between everything airing on the WWE Network this week, in addition to TakeOver Phoenix from last Saturday, and then the Royal Rumble the very same night, but I did make time to watch Total Divas. I was not disappointed. Not a great episode, but not a terrible episode either. So we kick off the episode with Nikki telling Brie and Brian, I'm not moving. I'm not moving to Los Angeles. They've made this a fucking big deal. But Nikki moving to Los Angeles from Phoenix, or I think it was San Diego, where Brie and Brian moved themselves to help out Nikki. And then Brie and Brian are like, what the fuck? Why are you leaving Los Angeles? Just because you're leaving on a whim because you're single now? Like, what the fuck's up with that? Nikki's like, oh, I'm not doing that. Like, I'm just recapping here what happened in episodes 1 and 2. So Nikki's like, oh, I'm not doing it because of that. I'm doing it because my heart says so, or some dumb shit like that. And they're like, okay, fine, we'll support you. Then they're like, okay, here's a plan as like a going away gift. We're looking forward to seeing you go. Like, we're happy for you, blah, blah, blah. And Nikki's like, oh, thanks, but I'm not leaving after all. Like, holy shit, what the fuck? Make up your mind. And then Nikki rents a car. I don't know what kind of car it is. I don't know cars, but she goes on a test drive with it, with the car, with Brie in the new car. And Brie's like, listen, Nikki, you're acting like a man going through a bad breakup with the whole midlife crisis shit. You're buying new cars. You're dating like a really young guy or girl. I mean, obviously she's not doing that yet, but she probably will soon be doing that because she's been with the same guy now for 6 or 7 years, so obviously now that she's no longer with him, she feels all this freedom, which is just... I mean, again, it's all dependent on who the person is. I understand that. I've never really understood where they're coming from in that respect, depending on how bad the relationship is. Clearly, Nikki loved John Cena, so it's not like, oh, I'm so free, he treated me so poorly for so long. I don't know Nikki Bella personally. I don't know John Cena personally. I'm just going to go off on a limb and guess that wasn't the case. So for her to be acting like this, in my opinion, is completely irrational. But purely in my opinion. Anyway, moving along here. Nikki and Brie start training for their return. They said how weird it is for them to be back in their ring gear. They wrestle at a live event in New York. They're really nervous for it. Like, oh, are we going to do well? Can we do the fucking flip in the ring? Like, can we do the butt shake thing on the way to the ring? Did we forget how to do it? Blah, blah, blah. Brie, aside from the Rumble, has not been in the ring in 2 or 3 years. Nikki hasn't been in the ring, aside from the Rumble, in a year and a half as well. But they, it goes off without a hitch. They do well. Brie says, oh, it feels like home. And Nikki says, oh, it makes me feel young again, blah, 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 even though they're 35 years old. They're not that old, but anyway. The one problem it does pose, though, is that Brie has to be away from her daughter, Birdie Jo, for the first time since she had her. Because Brie has always been a stay-home mom ever since she had the baby, so she misses being with Birdie Jo. Meanwhile, Nikki moves into a new place, I guess because she moved out of her old place, so she can move to Los Angeles. So now that she's not moving to LA, she had to find the new place in San Diego. I don't fucking know. She likes it because she likes her alone time, but at the same time, because this place is very open on the beach, she doesn't feel like that she's alone. The mom does not like this at all. The mom is not very happy with her buying a new house right on the fucking beach because she thinks it's way too open and just people, they know it's Nikki Bella. They know she lives there and she has way too much attention. She loves the attention. The mom doesn't like that. She's like, I don't think you're going to be safe here. More on that later. Meanwhile, Nikki reaches out to her old Dancing with the Stars partner, Artem, who they seemed a little too close for comfort back when they started doing the show a few years ago, but now that she's single again, she reconnected with him because she felt like she connected with him on an emotional level. Give me a fucking break. Nikki mentions that the new place cost her $23,000 a month. That is fucking ridiculous. Brie buys Birdie Jo some giant bear to make her kind of feel, like she's not alone when Brie and Brian have to go back on the road. There's a lot of bees here, by the way, so if I mess anything up, please excuse me, but Brian and Brie are back on the road. Birdie Jo has to stay at home, so Brie buys her a big bear. Again, that's a lot of bees. Try saying that 5 times fast. I'm surprised I made it through without fucking up. Brie buys Birdie. Okay, there we go. I fucked up. Brie buys Birdie a new bear. She doesn't like the bear. It's way too big. The baby doesn't like it. So Bree and Brian, their biggest fear here is that they don't want to make Birdie feel abandoned because they're not going to be there for a little while. That's the worst feeling a baby can feel, apparently, in their opinion. So, before they solve that problem, the Bellas invite some old hairstylists, some old friends of theirs to go hang out and smoke cigars with them, which is fucking fake as all shit, but whatever. Nikki brings up wanting a tattoo. And then Bree goes, Nikki, I think you want all these things because you think they'll make you feel better. You think that they'll make you feel better, which they obviously won't. So stop feeling like you're going through a midlife crisis here. Meanwhile, Bree and Brian, there we go. I'm fucking up all the B's here. I apologize. Bree and Brian go bring in a child development specialist to get Birdie looked at and analyze her actions and will she feel abandoned, blah, blah, blah. Explain their story to this child development specialist. It's there that Bree realizes, I'm blowing this completely out of proportion. I gotta calm down. We're great parents. We'll be fine. Mama Bella wants to make Nikki's place safer because it's way too much out in the open. So you got to have weapons, you got to have this, you got to have self-defense, blah, blah, blah. Nikki's like, listen, sister, you worry too much. Not sister, mother, but you know what I'm saying. Listen, Mama Bella, you worry too much, calm down. I'm going to have a block party. I'm going to invite the entire block to my house to kind of get familiar with everyone else who lives around in the area. Bree believes that Birdie is becoming more independent, and she will be fine when they go out to travel on the road. She does admit that it's going to be tough to go back to doing something that she was doing before that she had the baby, that being wrestling. She was doing the wrestling before she had Birdie Joe. It's going to be tough, but it's going to be a nice adjustment nonetheless. Brian and Bree start their own storyline together over on the SmackDown side, 2 days removed from SummerSlam. They love it. Bree determined to always be a strong mom. She's determined to be a strong mom for Birdie Joe always. Regardless of whether she's there or not. She wants to be the best mom possible and go out and prove to Birdie Joe that she can fucking kick some ass when she's not home. She can go out on SmackDown and deliver the SmackDown to Maurice and Miz. Nikki hosts a block party. Bree thinks it's kind of weird at first, and it takes Mama Bella back to when Nikki lived a freer life, as she says, before she met John Cena and she was partying all the time. But Nikki says that she's blooming. Give me a fucking break. She says that she's blooming and that she's getting back to feeling more independent and free and blah, blah, blah. Nikki feels like she had to live differently for so long, and now that I have freedom, I can do whatever I want. Again, give me a fucking break. Maybe that is the case in certain respects. John Cena did not always come off the best in the early few seasons of Total Divas and Total Bellas, but he was a very loving boyfriend and partner and whatnot. So she makes it seem like he was very abusive and that she had no freedom in their relationship, which is such bullshit because that's the case with any relationship you'll ever be in. Clearly, there's not as much stress being single, so get the fuck over this dumb shit here with I feel like I had to live so differently for so long. Give me a fucking break. Bree says even she buys into this bullshit. She buys into the bullshit too. She goes, "Oh, this is the first time in a long time that Nikki looks free." Give me a break. And then she proceeds to drink from a keg. So I don't know who to believe here. And then Nikki goes on a date with Artem to close out the episode. More on that in the next episode of Total Bellas. I think in 2 weeks. I don't think there's a new episode this weekend. This Sunday, tomorrow, whenever this goes up. I don't think there is. I looked on Google. It says the next episode is airing next Sunday. Might be wrong there. Not exactly sure. They should have just skipped last week when it was airing during the fucking Royal Rumble. Oh, obviously they're skipping this week because it's the Super Bowl. That makes a lot of sense. Okay, so they will be back next weekend. So don't expect a review in the next couple days. But anyway, that does it for this edition of Total Bellas Season 4, Episode 3, entitled Troublemaker. Again, a lot of dumb verbiage used here by Nikki Bella. I can see where she's coming from. I thought the Birdie Joe stuff was good. The Nikki, having a midlife crisis stuff is just comically entertaining. For all the wrong reasons. She comes across as completely pathetic and lonely and sad, despite this fake facade and appearance she's putting on here as this happy single woman, which is not the case at all. Anyway, guys, thank you for checking out the show. I appreciate it. Be sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and drop a comment on the video. All that stuff is greatly appreciated. I'll be back, not this week, but the next week, with an all-new review of Total Bellas Season 4, Episode 4, But in the meantime, stay tuned until tomorrow for my full review of WWE 24 New Orleans, focusing in on WrestleMania 34 as it aired on the network after the Royal Rumble pay-per-view last Sunday. So, till then, guys, I'm Graham G.S. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.